This is Jeremy Poplin with Thunder Breakdown.
Well, for the very first time, something that can be uttered across the state of Oklahoma, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the 2025 NBA champions. Welcome into the postgame show here on the News 9 YouTube feed and also streaming on X, as the stage has been put forth right in the middle of the court, and we are witnessing the coronation and the crowning of an NBA champion in the Oklahoma City Thunder for the first time in the franchise history since they've been in OKC. This organization really wanted nothing to do with the history of the Seattle Supersonics and now go on to win their very first NBA title. My name is Jeremy Poplin, and welcome in everyone as Lisa Salters is getting set to award the trophy here to the Thunder, who are wearing their 2025 NBA champion t-shirts. See Sam Presti up there, the entire team. Nobody in the arena has left except for the handful of Pacers fans that were there. And my goodness, did they not make everyone kind of sweat it out a little bit there at the very end? I mean, at the 4-minute mark, and I had wondered when I did this, but when they went up by, 20? I had sent the Vince Carter, it's over tweet, thinking that it was over. Now, ultimately it was, but in typical Pacer fashion, they made the Thunder crowd sweat it out a little bit, but it was all well worth it now as everyone crowding around Clay Bennett and the Oklahoma City Thunder contingent as the trophy is getting ready to get handed off. And there is Commissioner Silver handing it off right now. All the hands on the Larry O'Brien trophy, and the celebration is officially on in Oklahoma City after knocking off the Pacers here this evening. Well, we're here. If you have any questions, you want to jump in on the chat, please feel free to do so. We'll try to bring you as much as the post-game show as we can here in a bit, as much as we are allowed to. There's not much that we can stream here and watching the trophy presentation since it's still live on ESPN and on ABC. Right now, Sam Presti is being interviewed. That's the first time I've ever seen Sam Presti looked disheveled. He's got a he's sweating. It looks like that he doesn't have a voice that's left. It's very odd to see Sam in this fashion, because typically he's one of the most buttoned-down individuals that you'll find. Calm, cool, and collected. He's doing his best right now to keep it together. Talking about how he's given credit to the guys. Rebuild started 6 years ago for the Thunder, and there's so many, and we'll try to do this over the next couple of days, but there's so many different things that we can go through and talking points in terms of the rebuild. And I remember something a few years ago when it was about trusting the process, also in Philadelphia. And, they took a lot of grief over trusting the process here. And there were a lot of people that were wondering, all right, so what's the process going to look like with Oklahoma City through the entire rebuild? And at that point, they were just asking you to continue to have faith. Like, we've been pretty good here. If you want to try to help and just believe in what we're doing here with the stocking of draft picks. And then, after a few years of landing on a couple of picks and then deciding, we can move on with some of these guys here and build pieces to the puzzle and just continue to stockpile and stockpile and stockpile. The faith that I think the fan base had in Oklahoma City was one that obviously was warranted, and it tested the patience of a lot of people. There was a two-year span, and that's what's so funny about this is, like, we want to talk about Oklahoma City, dropping down to the depths. It was 2 years of 20-plus wins. Yeah, not fun, but when you were able to capitalize and get your future star and future MVP. And you could kind of see that the writing was on the wall that this team was going to ultimately end up coming through this. And you can't, with all those draft picks, you can't have obviously take all of them and land on everyone, but they've done a pretty darn good job to land enough. I mean, 3 years ago, that draft class with, both Jalen Williams and come away with Chet Holmgren in that too, just to see how much that they have meant in winning an NBA championship. Here's Adam Silver. Adam Silver awarding the Finals MVP to, really no surprise, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So now he joins a very exclusive club. Shai becomes not only MVP of the regular season, but MVP of the NBA Finals as well, as he lifts the trophy to the sky. We'll have a ton of coverage for you coming up, news9.com. Also, a ton of coverage on newson6.com. The fellows have not even hit the air yet when it comes to the television. They will be on shortly there on News 9. And again, as soon as we have an opportunity, we'll bring you some of the championship coverage in the post game. May be a little while before we get to anything on the podium. But my goodness, I want to run through a few of the things that just kind of stood out tonight after the Oklahoma City Thunder end up winning the championship. There was a stretch there, and I sent a tweet about this as SGA caps off one of the greatest runs that the NBA has ever seen. But we forget that this was a 4-point game with 3:45 left in the third quarter. TJ McConnell, who had another one of those quarters, more on him in a bit, hit a shot. It was 70-66 with 3:54 left. And from that point forward, up until about 4 or 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the Pacers scored 5 points, which is a crazy run. At one point, it was a 42-20 advantage in the second half by OKC. When it all fell apart for the Pacers. And Jalen Williams started to get more aggressive. SGA didn't typically have an SGA type evening in terms of efficiency, but he still got it done in terms of just commanding this team down the stretch. Was playing a little loose, had a little foul trouble. But I think he ended up being like 8 of 27 on the night or something like that. So not your typical SGA game, but still enough in terms of points to get this one done, as the interviews are still taking place on the stage. Now Lisa Salters wants to grab J-Dub here. If you're just wondering what the attire looks like, because all the stores are open now, probably run out and grab your championship gear. They've already had the commercial that's splashed up. So here's the most points by a duo in the finals. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving had 398 in 2016. In 2025, though, in second in terms of scoring from a duo, it's the highest number of 377. That eclipses the Jordan and Pippen combo from one of their years in the finals. So couldn't quite catch up to LeBron, couldn't quite catch up with Kyrie as well, but still a pretty amazing combination between these two guys here in the NBA Finals. Okay, a few notes here. Scoring champion, MVP, Finals MVP. Like, that puts you on a level of Michael Jordan. That's about every list that you can think of now is SGA and Michael Jordan with what he's done. So here's the total looks for your Finals MVP. Average 30.3 points per game, 5.6 assists, 4.6 rebounds, 1.9 steals, over a block and a half per game. That will do it when it comes to your MVP. So scoring champs to win the Finals MVP in the same season. How about this group? Kareem, MJ, Shaq, and now SGA. It's the reason why you say that you start to add these up and it becomes maybe one of the more dominant seasons not only from an individual but from a team. 84-21 record, best defense of the modern era. It was the start of a run early on in this season that we could tell was ultimately going to be very special for OKC as long as they were able to stay healthy. They battled through that because of the depth that they had. Chet played incredible tonight, 5 blocks, 8 rebounds, 18 points on the night. He hit a 3. This is also something that was a little bit of a problem for Chet in the series. I think coming into tonight, he was 2 of 17 from shooting 3. And that has completely changed and did change during the game. Alex Caruso now gets a little run here on the TV. Tonight finished with 3 steals. So Alex Caruso now has the most steals by a bench player in finals history. In the games, he had 3 steals in game 1, had 0 in game 2, 2 in game 3, 5 in game 4, 4 in game 5, and then finished it off with 3 tonight. So the defense just continues to cause problems. And that ultimately was the big stat of the night, which was the turnovers for the Pacers tonight that the Thunder forced. I mean, you look up in the points that were scored off of turnovers. I mean, it's otherworldly for that to happen in a Game 7. Not many times are you going to be able to win a game in which you have that many turnovers and allow your opponents to score that many points off of turnovers. But that is the story tonight to sum it up for the Thunder and for the Pacers. So the possession battle, this was a big one. The possession battle, and you can look at it, outside of game 1, Oklahoma City, whoever won the game ended up winning the possession battle. And tonight, Oklahoma City won the possession margin by 16. In game 6, it was 17 for Indiana, 13 in game 5 for OKC, 5 for OKC in game number 4. Indiana won the possession in game number 3, and right on down the list. So it ends up checking out. That was one of the underlying statistics of the entire night. Now, here's something that's funny that's happened on the podium. Like Isaiah Hartenstein is up there. He has his son that's in his arms, and his son is just crashed out in his arms. Like he can't be more than he doesn't even look 2. I still marvel about that. I think about my own daughter and the places that she was able to fall asleep in. I mean, that baby is out. And it is so loud in the Paycom Center right now as the celebration continues there on the floor at the Paycom. All right, so how you feeling? How you feeling about walking away with the first ever NBA title? Here's Jermaine who jumps into the stream. He said, listen, I may not be a Thunder fan, but congrats to OKC. First time for you guys. I try not to get into many of the debates about who's watching and, the ratings on this. Like, this was a great basketball series. It's not going to go down as what it was in 2016 that we saw with LeBron, but to get a Game 7, to see how both of these teams, just the grit and determination, continue to play out over and over and over again. The fact that Indiana just wouldn't go away at all, I think speaks a lot to just the quality of basketball that was in this series. There were several stats that showed that these two teams traveled more on the floor than any other teams that we've seen since the tracking data started. They were up an average over, I think, like 38 miles. I know that was before we even got to Game 7. And the average was, I think, 4 miles less. So the amount of distance that's on the floor that was covered during this series is remarkable. Shai has on around his neck right now. Of course, he has his new Converse shoe that's debuting. So he has a pair around his neck right now that are gold. That's a new colorway that Converse has been hanging on to until Oklahoma City won the championship. I think that shoe officially goes on sale sometime coming up in November, I think. They do have the pre-sale is on right now, or at least you can go and check them out and subscribe at Converse right now if you want to get your first pair of Shea shoes. Boy, you could not ask for better marketing if you're Converse right now in SGA with the run that they've been on in the playoffs, and then to not have the shoe available to actually sell until coming up later on, about the time that the NBA season starts, and what would be a title defense for Oklahoma City. Almost works out too perfectly for Oklahoma City. So it looks like that ABC is going to shut down their broadcast right about now, and we should be getting close to being able to actually bring you some of the post game. Okay. The Thunder are the first team to score at least 100 points in the NBA Finals Game 7 since 1988. Yeah, we talked about that during the halftime show. Game 7s are typically, points per possession was way down in this one too. I know they ended up cracking 100 points, as I just said, first time since 88. But my goodness, there was a time where I thought, is that going to even hit 100? It definitely hit the under, which Game 7s have a tendency to do. But that 88 series, I think, was the Lakers and Pistons the last time that they did. Okay, a few other items here. With the final being 103-91. Crazy to think that it was just 17 years after arriving in Oklahoma City that they lift the trophy. And of the 17 years, they've been good. They've been good, 14 out of the 17 years? So as much as we say, hey, yeah, it's taken 17 years, fan base has had nothing really to complain about over this stretch of just dominant basketball play that we've seen from Oklahoma City. With the Thunder as champions, will Oklahoma City undergo a transformation? Transformation, I mean, it seems like the city is transforming every single day as it is. They're already knocking down the Myriad, and that's where the new arena is going to go. Thunder are going to have the rights where Paycom is at now, which is essentially just right across the street. So it will the city's going to get a facelift. And look, the city looks remarkably different from where it was that many years ago. And, who knows what's going to happen with this, the largest skyscraper project that's been approved, how that could change the landscape in the face of the city. But there's no question that this franchise has completely flipped the script inside the state of Oklahoma when it comes to sports, flipped the script with everyone, the way that we view the NBA in this state. I mean, the fact that we've become an NBA state is rather remarkable. As someone that was a fan of the NBA in this state before we even thought about, hosting the Hornets for that period of time after Katrina, to Oklahoma City, and then setting the stage for OKC to eventually get their team. And we were talking about this in the office the other day, is, man, the story of after David Stern, who was the commissioner of the NBA at that time, took the meeting with the powers that be in Oklahoma City. I think the mayor was in that, a few heavy hitters. And David Stern took the meeting, but he looked at them and said, yep, you know what? You guys are great, but I foresee an NHL team in your future. And just kind of closed the door. And the Ford Center, when it was first built, it was converted to actually have ice. And that was the major hope for OKC at the time, was okay, well, maybe we'll get an NHL team. And then you had Hurricane Katrina, and to set the stage for what this has turned into here today is pretty remarkable work. All right, back to the stream. So my first ever multiple championships in a season: Oklahoma City Thunder NBA champions, Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl 59 champions. Well, congrats. That's pretty awesome for you. As a fan, that does not happen very often, so you should probably hang on to that for as long as you can. Warriors win 88 games in 2015-16. The Bulls 87 in 95-96. The Bulls 84, 96-97. And now the Thunder win 84 now. And you're talking about some of the most dominant teams that have ever played basketball right there. And now Oklahoma City ends up in that same position with them. All right, let's see here. We did it. We are NBA champions. Yes, that's it. Michael jumps in here on the chat. It says, good 2 weeks for me, the Thunder and the Panthers. And that's quite the combo there, Michael, with the Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup back-to-back. The Thunder are just now leaving the floor, by the way. No one has left their seats. Sam Presti is hugging people still on the floor right now. People are still cheering, pumping their fists. SGA is on the floor right now. He's got his wife that was hanging on to the MVP trophy right there. He's got his son in his arms. He'll hand him off as he's got some post-game responsibilities. I've always wondered what it's like for these guys to win a championship and then still have to, I mean, you're happy and you're jovial. You get to go speak about winning an NBA championship, but the last thing you want to do is feel like that you have to be rushed off of the floor to go talk about this. Like, no, this is an incredibly long season, and I want to just hang out here for a bit. And on the flip side, the Pacers having to go through their post-game press conference after losing Halliburton and then losing in the NBA Finals this way. It's got to be pretty painful. All right, Thunder win the NBA championship for the very first time. We're going to have a ton of coverage for you coming up here at News 9 website and News on 6 website as well. Just seeing the reaction here. All right, so this is officially out now. So we can talk about this because the city just tweeted this out. Oklahoma City did. So the Thunder are NBA champions, and the city is celebrating their victory with a championship parade. The 2025 Champions Parade will take place at 10:30 on Tuesday, June 24th. Here's a statement from Mayor David Holt. Day of the parade will forever live in the annals of our city's history. You got to be careful with that one. It's a celebration of our team's historic accomplishments and our city's renaissance. All Thunder fans from across the city, state, and the world are invited. I encourage all employers and entities in OKC to allow availability for all to attend to the greatest extent possible. So basically, Mayor Holt is telling you, hey, bosses, cut everyone a break. We want you to let them off work so they can come down to the parade. For those attending, please recognize the extraordinary and unprecedented magnitude of the event and expect long periods of time and significant walking for the fans that choose to attend. And for the downtown businesses and entities, please recognize that normal operations will not be possible on Tuesday. Let's thunder up OKC. We are the champions. Listen to this number. Large crowds are expected to attend the city's first ever NBA championship parade. Similar events in other cities have attracted 500,000 people or more. Police officers, firefighters, and emergency personnel from across the metro area will be along the route to help ensure a safe and enjoyable celebration. You can go to okcparade.com to read the parade details, including route maps, parking, and transportation information, as well as tips for a safe and enjoyable experience. You can find all of that information as well at news9.com and also on newson6.com. We'll have everything that you need right there. They finished this up, and again, this is a post from the city. The city's priority is a safe environment for the parade. Oklahoma City's Office of Emergency Management is coordinating public safety for the parade. The parade perimeter will be secured and protected for maximum public safety. We want everyone to use common sense and stay aware of their surroundings. Also expect cell service to be spotty. Yes, indeed, it will be spotty. My foot just kicked the camera, sorry. We want everyone to use common sense. It's going to be spotty. Let's gather together to celebrate the Thunder and be great neighbors to one another. This will be a celebration to remember. So there you have it, the parade coming up on Tuesday. That's June 24th. They expect everything to get started at 10:30. Make sure you go to the website, newson6.com and news9.com for all of the latest when it comes to the parade information. All right, a couple of more things here, and then we'll wrap up. Final score 103-91. I want to continue to highlight that. Don't feel like I do a good enough job of of continuing to spread the score that's there. Man, social media is absolutely on fire right now. Sam Presti's second youngest championship. He's got a gigantic, cache of assets that are coming up. This team is going to be a threat now for multiple years to come. And I'm watching the coverage now of News 9, and someone that's somewhere celebrating actually has their cat, Rumble the cat, is out with them, and they're celebrating a championship right now there on News 9. Here's Rick Carlisle. Here's a comment from Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle said they may have had those buses painted up in the back in December. They'll have a great parade. They have great fans. Can't argue with Rick about that. OKC now becomes the youngest team to win an NBA title since the Blazers in '77. They could have as many as 13 first-round picks over the next 7 drafts, 7 of their own and 6 additional. Here are the ages at the first NBA championship among the all-time great guards. Magic won his first championship at the age of 20. Kobe at 21. Dwayne Wade at 24. SGA at 26. Steph 27. It took Michael and Isaiah till they were 28 to win a title. How about Oscar Robertson, 32. Jerry West was 34. Gary Payton was 37. And as we mentioned before, players to win the MVP, scoring title, and championship in the same season. Michael Jordan in 91, 92, 96, 98. Kareem in 71. Shaq in 2000. And now SGA in 2025. All right, that'll do it for our post-game stream. I appreciate everyone for sticking with this and all the fun that we've had over the course of watching these finals or this Thunder team over the course of the finals and the playoffs. And, of course, everyone jumping in on the halftime hangouts. This will continue to evolve. We'll continue to do fun things like this in big-time events, not only with News 9, but News on 6 as well. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. We'll get to work for you on newson9.com and newson6.com. And also enjoy the championship and be safe at the parade coming up on Tuesday. Really appreciate you, and we'll see you as we get set for a championship parade. Downtown Oklahoma City is alive tonight. There are horns honking everywhere. People are chanting. There are high fives. There are hugs everywhere. They did it. They did it. They won the NBA championship. There were times where it didn't look like it was going to be possible. It for darn sure wasn't easy. By the way, it's not supposed to be easy. But this team has now put themselves in a position with winning a championship with the second youngest roster ever where they are going to be contenders for easily the next 5, 6, 7 years. And maybe, just maybe, even longer than that. And now the fun thing is the rest of the NBA gets to react to what Oklahoma City does. When you are the champion and you are a contender for this many years in a row, teams will start to build to counteract what you're doing. And the good thing is like not every GM is as good as what Sam Presti is. There are only a handful across the entire NBA that you would even put in that category. How will they respond to it? It's great. It's great to be champion. It's fun to be hunted. Now the real work begins, where you go and you try to stay on top of the mountain. And I can't think of an organization that's put themselves in a better position than what Oklahoma City has done right now to win their first title and now try to go and defend it. But a little word of advice before I hang up is this. Whatever you do, the next 48 hours, the next 72, the next week, the next month, the next 2 months, do not get caught up in the, okay, well, yeah, do it again mentality that we have in the world of sports. It's one of the things that absolutely drives me crazy. I love sports. I live in a sports bubble. I don't really know anything else that happens in the world outside of the sports world, and that's on me, but that's the way I choose to live my life. But one of the things I cannot stand is that we just rush through these championships now. If you're a Thunder fan and you're watching this, that means that you are. Do not rush through this. Let it soak in and enjoy the moment. Buy all the merch. Have fun with this. Who cares what happens next season? Worry about that when the next season tips off. Spend the next couple of months reigning as the NBA champion, giant smile on your face, and look around and say, you know what? No one thought that this small market was going to be able to make it to the top of Everest. We did. And who cares if it's only one? You know what? You still went to Everest. You still were at the highest point on planet Earth, and that's where the Oklahoma City Thunder are tonight. And with that, have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you at news9.com and newson6.com as well. Have a good night from all of us here, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma's Own digital studio stream. Stay with News 9, online and on television anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.